Although it didn't yield any hits, it sold a respectable 500,000 copies and established Tupac as an uncompromising social commentator on songs such as Brenda's Got a Baby, which narrates an underage mother's fall into destitution, and Soulja's Story, which controversially spoke of blasting a police officer and dropping the cop. The song was cited as a motivation for a real-life cop killing by a teenage car thief called Ronald Ray Howard and was condemned by then U.S. Vice President Dan Keel, who said, "There is absolutely no reason for a record like this to be published. It has no place in our society." With those words, Tupac's notoriety was guaranteed. In April 2017, Tupac was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, one of music's highest honors. He was the first solo hip-hop artist to be inducted and was selected in his first year of eligibility. In August 1992, Tupac was attacked by jealous kids in Marin City. He drew his pistol but dropped it in the melee. Someone picked it up, the gun fired, and a 6-year-old bystander, Cad Walker Teal, fell dead. Although Tupac wasn't charged for Walker Teal's death, he was reportedly inconsolable. In 1995, Walker Teal's family brought a civil case against Tupac but settled out of court after an unnamed record company, thought to have been Death Row, offered compensation of between $300,000 to $500,000. In October 1993, Tupac shot and wounded 2 white off-duty cops in Atlanta, one in the abdomen and one in the buttocks, after an altercation. However, the charges were dropped after it emerged in court that the policemen had been drinking, had initiated the incident, and that one of the officers had threatened Tupac with a stolen gun. Tupac noted the case illustrated the misrepresentation of black men in America and the attitude of some police toward them, which he had been talking about in his music. What was portrayed as gun-toting gangster behavior by a lawless individual turned out to be an act of self-defense by a young man in fear of his life. All the while, Tupac's star continued to rise. Unable to escape punishment entirely, Tupac went to jail for 15 days in 1994 for assaulting movie director Alan Hughes, who had fired him from the set of Menace to Society for being disruptive. He faced much more serious charges in February 1995, when Tupac was sentenced to between 1.5 and 4.5 years of jail time for sexually abusing a woman. The case related to an incident that had taken place in Tupac's suite in the New York Parker Meridien Hotel in November 1993. Tupac maintained that he hadn't raped the fan, though he confessed to the Vibe magazine journalist Kevin Powell that he could have prevented others who were present in the suite at the time from doing so. "I had a job, and I never showed up," he said. Joining Death Row Records and All Eyes on Me while Tupac was in prison on rape charges, he was visited by Suge Knight, the notorious head of Death Row Records. Knight offered to post the $1.3 million bail Tupac needed to be released pending his appeal. The condition was that Tupac sign on to Death Row, which Tupac did. He was released from the high-security Dannemora facility in New York in October 1995. Even as he was glorifying an outlaw lifestyle for Death Row, Tupac was financing an at-risk youth center, bankrolling South Central sports teams, and setting up a telephone helpline for young people with problems, according to Vanity Fair. Tupac's debut for Death Row, the double-length album All Eyes on Me, came out in February 1996. With his new hip-hop group Outlawz debuting on the album, All Eyes on Me was an unapologetic celebration of the thug lifestyle, eschewing socially conscious lyrics in favor of gangsta funk hedonism and menace. Dr. Dre, who had pioneered G-Funk with NWA, produced the album's first single, California Love, which went to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and remains Tupac's best-known song. The third single from the album, How Do You Want It, also topped the chart. Within 2 months of its release, All Eyes on Me had been certified 5 times double platinum. It would eventually become diamond certified, reaching more than 10 million combined sales and streams. Before Tupac released his third album, he became a target. In November 1994, he was shot multiple times in the lobby of the Manhattan recording studio Quad by 2 young black men. Tupac believed his rap rival Biggie Smalls was behind the shooting, for which nobody has ever been charged. Smalls always denied he knew anything about the incident. In 2011, Dexter Isaac, a New York prisoner serving a life sentence for an unrelated crime, claimed music executive James Henchman Roseman paid him to steal from Tupac and that he shot the rapper during the robbery.